Well, let's go ahead and let's dive into the AFC West, fellas. This is an interesting division, kind of looking at it this week. The teams there. Obviously, you have the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they're the juggernauts, right? But then you have the Los Angeles Chargers, who have just been kind of one of those teams. You know what they remind me of? They remind me of another Jacksonville Jaguars. We talked about them last week. They have a good quarterback, right? But it's just like it doesn't seem like that they can put it all together. On paper, they're a good team, right? And if you look at their defense, it's a really good defense on paper. But yet they're one of the worst. They're always towards the bottom of the rankings as far as defensive stats come the end of the year, and so it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But Jim Harbaugh is there now. I feel like that he's definitely the perfect guy. If anyone's going to turn it around, it can be him. I mean, coming off an 85-25 record there in Michigan, and then let's not forget about the run that he had with the San Francisco 49ers. He went 44-22 with them, and he led Colin Kaepernick, led 49ers to the Super Bowl. So I think that that's going to be a good fit for him. I think that it's the coach that Justin Herbert needs. But I'm interested to see what your guys' take is for the Los Angeles Chargers this year, because I think that they can be that second place team there in that division, and find themselves in a wild card spot.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there's already talks of like, because every season there's like a theme and message that comes out that like a head coach wants to achieve. Jim Harbaugh's message to the Chargers was, you might beat us on Sunday, but you're not going to win your next game. And so like when you re-look at all of his draft picks, he's re-establishing a strong center base. He's investing in running backs because he already has the investment in Justin Herbert that like the quarterback game is going to be good, but he really wants to pull away from the quarterback really running the show, investing heavily in like good tackles, good linebackers, and then a really solid running game. And like, yeah, sure, it's going to be a rebuilding year, but how much are they actually going to be rebuilding? Because they're going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I definitely feel like it's an interesting situation because I completely agree that Chargers have just felt like this team that I don't know ever since even when the years of Philip Rivers. After that, like it's hard to say that after Philip Rivers they went off of an edge. It's almost like they didn't necessarily change after Philip Rivers. Like they've been competitive. They've been getting positive, being positive at the end of the season. They've been doing all of this, but just for some reason, either they just miss the playoffs or they lose out in the beginning. Like it's just been constant for like it feels like 15 years. The same thing has been happening with their season. Completely median. I mean, I think with Harbaugh coming in, I like that. I mean, I agree with you, Foyce. I like him coming in, just doing something different. I think this team needed a full rehaul of exactly what what the goal of this team is to do. Like he's gonna go hard nose, he's gonna run the ball, he's gonna take some of the pressure off of Herbert, focus on the defense, focus on the O line, focus on the run game, and try and win that way. Hey, it's better than like you got to change the formula is too the same thing has been happening way too long with this team. So I'm all for whatever changes Harbaugh needs to make.
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna punch these guys in the face, not literally, but maybe.
Bite
They
kneecaps.
yeah.
By kneecaps.
They just go through they kind of they're going through a rebuild, but it's not like a from scratch rebuild because they were in like salary cap hell there for a little bit. And then that's why you get rid of Allen, you got to trade him away, they got to restructure Bosa and Khalil Mack. So they get the salary cap under control, but in that time frame they have to give up, and their wide receiver core is hurting. They got to get rid of Eckler as well. Yeah, I mean, but Harbaugh's the man for the job. But like you said, he's with the Niners. Everywhere he goes, he wins.
Yeah.
His Michigan days, the 49ers days, he won there. Heck, even when he was at Stanford, he won. Even at University of San Diego,
Yeah.
the guy won. So he is a winner. I do like what he's doing, man. He's like Foy said, he's getting it. Get Joe Alt in there, so they got him and Slater on the corners now on the edges. Good two tackles, and they got a good defense. But I like what you said about their defense was it looks really good on paper, but it just doesn't translate to the field.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 100% right, man. You got Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Shante Samuel, even Denzel Perryman is a huge hitter in the middle of that at linebacker. But I, I, I don't know what it is with them. I don't know if it was scheme, coaching, but coaching won't be the issue for them anymore. Harbaugh's going to turn this
No.
team around. Yeah. I
Uh,
think they're a 500 team or 500-ish. They could go 8-9, 9-8. I feel like they're going to be right around there. They'll be competitive.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
have them going. I have them going 10-7. I mean, because I do like the additions, and there were some additions that I feel like that maybe get overlooked. But
Hmm.
I love the signing of DJ Chark. I know that they need help there in the offensive and the wide receiver room. I think that he's a good depth piece. He doesn't necessarily have to come in and be that number one guy. They drafted late Lad McConkey from
Conklin.
Georgia, who I think
yeah,
Love
was a
that.
fantastic receiver
Yeah.
from Georgia. And then they signed Christian Fulton, a very successful corner in Tennessee. He's coming to add to that secondary. And then they drafted Cam Hart. And they drafted Cam Hart late, and I think he fell. I think that that's going to be one of those draft picks that we look back on, and they're like, man, they stole that guy because he was so good in college, such a physical, and he's big too. He's such a physical corner. And I mean that is the name of the game. It's physicality. They even went out and they got Gus Edwards. I mean, they did get J.K. Dobbins. I'm hoping that J.K. Dobbins does well, but I don't know if he'll ever see more than three plays on an NFL field.
He,
Unfortunately,
he, he just got hurt. So,
also,
he
yeah,
stepped out of the
did you
car. He's hurt.
did you guys notice how many draft picks from Michigan were on their final list? There's like
He's going
five
what he
guys.
knows.
It's like, oh, I know this
I mean,
guy.
like yeah, I mean, you just have to look at it. I mean, he had an idea of what he was going to do coming into here, and he executed it, to the T on what he said that he was going to do. So they should be very physical. They should be very competitive this year, and hopefully, it takes Justin Herbert to that next tier that we all know that he can be. So I have them at
Yeah.
10-7. I see them coming in second division or second in this division. I really do.
You're being
Yeah.
very gracious.
I got them 8 and
Well,
9.
8-9.
8
Okay.
and 9. Yeah. I think it's a new. I think it's the start of a new regime. I don't necessarily. I mean, but they don't necessarily have to start like being great immediately. I think they're gonna win some important games, and I think they're gonna start a new kind of mentality in that in that on the team. So yeah, 8 and 9.
Okay. I
Um,
like it.
so like the interesting thing, like if you look at their schedule, they have almost the exact same schedule as the Chiefs, and so like you'll hear me bring this up later. So they have their first four games. Game four is the game against the Chiefs in Kansas City, and then week five is their bye, and then they have a 13-game break, like of
Mm-hmm.
nothing but games. So like the strategy has to become like if they want to be successful in the postseason, they have to get that first week bye. There's no way around it. They're not going to be able to go the distance. The only reason why the Chiefs did it last year, they sacrificed during the Raiders game at the end of the season. They also they had that week 10 bye. So like that, yeah, they had that bye like right there in the middle. But like
Mhm.
same exact schedule almost as the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a bye on week 6 instead of week 5. But like going 13 games of really physical football, that's going to really wear and tear on them. And I think that's part of Jim Harbaugh's message. Like, is like I'm going to put in people in there to do damage, but I want to protect the critical assets. I want to save the wide receiver core. I want to save Herbert. I want to save like my key players because I need them to perform in crunch time.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll definitely see how it goes. Let us know down there in the comments what you guys think the Chargers are going to do.